Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, Sask Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
So my name is Brittany Hennig and I work with the Canola Council of Canada in Southern Alberta as an agronomy specialist.
And where are we standing today?
So we're just out by Moss Lee area. This is a sentinel seal field that we partnered with a couple growers. Every agronomy specialist has about one or two, and we scout it at least around once a week to make sure that we better understand what's going on in our area. So going off of swathing or straight cutting. So for straight cutting we have about 3 products that are the main ones. So we have Regulone, which is our desiccant. We want the whole plant to be at 90% color change. So this is a fairly large plant here. We need this entire plant to be at 90% because Regulone is a desiccant. It's not going to help the maturity, it is going to kill the plant. So this is going to take, when you spray it, you want to harvest it max 14 days. You don't want to leave it any longer than that because then it's prone to shattering. With Regulone as well, you want to make sure that you're using at least 20 gallons an acre of water. It is contact, and especially with all this, if you have a really thick crop, you need to make sure it contacts or touches everything. So really enforce the water volume on that as well. When we look at heat and glyphosate, heat is, they do recommend not spraying it on its own to make sure you do mix it with glyphosate. It's just more uniform, quicker dry down. About 2 to 3 weeks, depending on weather. 2 weeks the earliest, but it's going to take a little bit longer than the Regulone because it's not a desiccant. But when we assess seed color change for heat and glyphosate, we want to look at the main stem. Now I picked this plant specifically because it has a ton of branches. And so when we go up and find the main stem, this is the main stem. So you compare it to all of its side branches, and there's a ton that we're not accounting for. But we do want to start with the main stem count, and we want to start at 75%. But if we have the main stem at 75% and our branches are still around 30%, let's pull that off, we really need to take into effect the branches on the side as well. If we have 10 plants per square foot, typically 50% of your yield comes from the main stem and 50% comes from your side branches. Going around 5 plants per square foot, then about 2/3 of your yield comes from your side branches, and then you get down to 3 plants per square foot, that about 3/4 of your yield come from side branches. So you really need to take a good judgment call, as your main stem really needs to be at that color change mark, but also where most of your yield is coming from. If you have 50% coming from your side branches, it's going to be just a little bit later than, you're going to be able to spray a little bit sooner than, say, if all of your yield is coming from your side branches. When you're doing glyphosate, you want to make sure you're at least 30%. And that is also 30% moisture, 30% seed color change. That one's going to take, again, a few weeks. And that is actually the same timing to swath. So at least 30%. But research has shown if you increase that to 60% seed color change, you actually increase your yield by 10%. So patience is key in both straight cutting and swathing.